What's up to all the new subscribers out there? Dan 3030, thank you for subscribing. I love it. I love it. As we become the official fastest growing sports internet YouTube talk piece. Hey, look, shout out to us for continuing to still rock and roll. Now we're going to go ahead and switch some lanes. We talked about the NFL robbing the fans, and now they have to pay up, but they won't because they're going to appeal this process. Now, they owe the fans $4.7 billion. However, in this class action lawsuit, they're going to delay. Now, if it took 10 years to get a decision, imagine how long this appellate process will go on. So we as fans may never, ever see that money, and the price of the NFL Sunday ticket will continue to climb, regardless of who you have. Whether you have YouTube TV, Direct TV, or whatever, the price is going to climb. So now we're going to hop back into the association in the NBA. Now, the Washington Wizards, do you really care? I don't know of any Washington Wizards fans. That is mainly a DC thing because I've never met one. I've never met one. And the Wizards, they finally, they're on a road to a rebuild. I thought that's what they were always doing. Even when they had John Wall and Bradley Beal trying to go ahead and build around them, that didn't work out. They had Kristaps Porzingis, that didn't work out. It's just like now they got Jordan Poole, that seemed not to work out until they put him on the bench, and then he came off the bench. Again, this is a whole bunch of stuff that the Washington Wizards have done to themselves. And they just acknowledge again, they're on another rebuild because they haven't made the playoffs since 2021. Now, this is going to come from WizFalls.com and Tyler Watts. And I guess he's a diehard because he's following this. And so the Wizards have made another trade before the draft by kicking it off, trading Denny Avdija for Malcolm Brogdon, which Malcolm Brogdon balled his heart out for Boston a couple of years. And that was the 14th overall pick, a future first-round selection, and 2 second-rounders. And that's according to ESPN's own Adrian Wojnarowski. Washington needs young talent and should look for players with untapped potential. What? They need young players. Washington needs to win some games. That's what they need. Washington needs to win some games. Untapped potential. Come on, man. That's what got them in this position in the first place. They don't need any more of that. They need to win some games. And it's just like, are we going to keep doing the same thing over and over? It just seems like we're just going in circles. We are on a treadmill to continue doing the same thing we've done year in, year out. Last year, the Wizards won 15 games. And so now you're telling me that they need to go younger and get that untapped potential. Oh my God. Now, most of those are found via the trade. Now, they traded Daniel Gafford to the Mavericks before the deadline and picked up another first-round pick. The deal was completed with the 26th overall selection last night. The Wizards trade up in the first round as they complete the Daniel Gafford trade to the Mavericks. The two teams swap centers, with Washington getting the first-round draft pick via the Thunder. Dallas in ecstatic with the deal as Gafford helped them reach the NBA Finals for just the third time in the franchise history and the first since 2011. So the deals and how they broke down, they got, on one hand, they received Richaun Holmes, and then Dylan Jones was traded to the Thunder. And then the Mavericks, they got the Daniel Gafford. Now, the Wizards did not get Jones. They traded the 26th pick and the 51st selection in the 2024 NBA draft to move up to 24. Washington took Keyshawn George at 24. The 6'8" wing has tons of potential and should help rebuild the nation's capital. What? What? Washington hopes George becomes a key piece for their next contending team. The Wizards made 3 first-round picks on June 26 and wisely took advantage of other teams avoiding this draft. They avoided the draft. Now, again, I'm going to cut shortly the NBA draft, why the second round was way better than the first round and why they may be on to something. And I'll go ahead and explain in that, because for what the first round lacked, the second round had more substance. It had more substance. So Washington hopes George again can become a key piece to the next contending teams. The Wizards made the 3 first-round picks on June 26 and wisely took advantage of other teams avoiding this draft. They have minutes and the roster spots available to develop the talent. Washington should just keep loading up until they find their superstar. And this is a recipe for a disaster. We've already covered you won 15 games last year. You're going to win 16 games this year if you keep that silly strategy in place. Not saying that they can't get better, but the division has gotten a lot tougher. Boston, the defending champions, they're standing on your neck. New York is retooled. They're the Villanova of the pro game now. Then you have Philadelphia got better last night in the draft. I felt like they slept on a lot of players that Philadelphia picked up, and it was like, whoa. They got more defense than what they needed. Now they need some offense. They need to help Maxey and Joel Embiid out. But yeah, Philadelphia looked dead serious last night. Free agency is flying around here. You'll see what you can grab. But then there you go. You're at the bottom. You're at the bottom. I don't care if you put Toronto in there. You're not better than Toronto. And like I say, we've covered this. You all won 16 games last year. The only team worse than that was the Pistons. They won 14 games last year. You're not better than Toronto. Toronto won 25 games last year. They won 10 more games than you. And you're telling me with this strategy, and you drafted all around the place, and you're just getting young players with untapped potential and hoping that things are going to work out, you're going to end up in the same place. That's why I titled this The Wizards. Really? Do you care? They had a dude who made it to the Washington Wizards from the G League who was still inactively out of Target. And then when he got waived, you had the money to pay. Why would you go in Target and take silly things like bath wash, soap, deodorant? It's the Washington Wizards. That's not worth it. It's not worth it. I'm not going to let that drag me down. Again, it's the show within the show. We are still cooking. It's just Big Vern at App Stupid. We got one more.